Assalamualaikum saudara-saudara dan selamat datang di Jamaah Plus 62. Saya harap Anda semua melakukan yang terbaik untuk akhirat.
I tell you what, if I didn't have people and comments like this, I barely have any content at all. So basically, he's saying the same thing. Islam came after Christianity, therefore it's wrong, and bloop-de-bloop and whoop-de-whoop. But let's get into the specifics on what he is talking about. He's basically saying that everything was okay until Islam came along and said that Christianity was wrong. But let's use his air quotes logic. Let's travel 500 years before Jesus Christ and see what the prophets are talking about. I tell you what they weren't talking about. They weren't talking about anybody having to sacrifice themselves for the sins of mankind. Come to think of it, they weren't talking about that 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years ago, even 5,000 years ago. So to use your logic, was God deceiving everybody and all of the prophets from Adam all the way until, oops, wait a minute, we're going to change everything when Jesus came? So who was deceiving who? If the only way to salvation and the only way to heaven is to believe that Jesus died for your sins, how come he didn't say that in the beginning? The rest of the prophets didn't have that salvation and they didn't preach that salvation. Whoops. You do see how you contradicted yourself, right? I hope so. We have to get away from this thought that all of the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam in their original form are different. Because Moses was a Muslim. Jesus was a Muslim. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a Muslim. They just had different laws. I know I can see all the people out there. What do you mean Jesus was a Muslim? Islam came 600 years after Christianity. Why am I talking like Donald Trump? Let me make it real easy for you because you guys always get hung up on this. Muslim, Islam, what is the root word? What does it mean? I'm glad you asked. Islam comes from the word istaslama, which means to submit your will to God. So it doesn't matter if you practice Judaic law or Christian law or Islamic law, but you still believe and submit your will to one God, guess what? Yep, you're a Muslim. I can see all the Christians out there saying, see, Islam teaches you to submit. Islam teaches you to be a slave. You got all that from Islam teaching you to submit to the will of God? Wait a minute. I remember a story from my Bible study when I was a kid. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, what did he do? He fell on his face and he prayed to God, but I wonder what he said. Oh God, let this cup pass over me, but not my will, but your will be done. Wait a minute, Jesus submitted? Yeah, he did. Who did he submit to? Yep, God. You're going to call Jesus that same name? I bet you won't. Anyway, Allah yahdikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a great week.